Today's exercise program is a movement-based program. It's just called Let's Get Moving. And the idea is that it is an upscale walking program. So for those of you who like to take a walk, this is just a little better than a walk and more fun. But you can keep it gentle. You can do it at your own pace. You can take it slower and you can take it faster. Whatever works for you. A note about footwear. Typically in cardio or aerobic classes, supportive footwear is recommended. Now, we have to make do with what we have. I'm going to be demonstrating today on a carpeted floor. So if I had regular sneakers on, I might actually stick to the floor and trip myself. So I'm going to be working out in socks today, which for me, I think is the safest way to move on a carpeted floor. If I had a bare floor that I was working on, I would definitely have shoes on because socks would make me slip and fall. So you must do what you feel comfortable doing and what is going to be the most comfortable with your feet as well. Some folks need that more supportive shoe when they're up and they're taking a walk or marching. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be playing some music in the background, but I don't want it to be loud enough to overpower. I see that, Rose, you have your hand up?
Yes.
What can I do for you?
On the recording that you're doing, is that something that you'll send out to us that we'll be able to use later in the day or later in the week until the next class?
Actually, you'll have to request the recording. It will be available about an hour after we finish the session, and you will request it in an email, and you email help@getsetup.io, and then the recording link will be sent to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and just a reminder, if everyone would please mute your microphone as we get started so that there's not any extraneous noise that becomes distracting. We're going to start just with marching, and as we do the marching, I'm going to continue to give some more instructions and talk a little bit about what we're doing and how to do the modifiers today. All right, so here's the spot that I'm starting in. And we're just starting with a gentle march. So you're up on your feet, moving your lower body. We're going to take our march slowly and speed it up a little bit. So it looks like this: march, march, step, step, and back to speed. Slowly here, and back to speed.
Are we supposed to be able to hear that music?
Yes.
It's more like background. If I turn the music up too much, I won't be able to concentrate and project my voice.
Okay, thank you.
I recommend you all play your own music.
Thank you.
Here we go. So as we go through some of the movements, if anything is too difficult for you, if it feels uncomfortable, or it's just a challenging, complicated, I don't think I'm doing anything complicated, but if you find it a little bit tricky, just come back to the march. This is like home base right here. You can always come back to a march. Slow, 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 and faster, back up to speed. And slow. And up to speed. Let's do that again. 4, slow. And up to speed. Slow, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to speed. Now we're going to take our march wide. And we can do this slow and fast as well. That looks like this. Slow, 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 and back up to speed with our legs nice and wide. Bring it in. Let's go wide and in. Out. And back into the regular normal stance. And wide. And together. Wide again, out.
Good morning.
And in.
Mute.
And open. And in. Back to regular marching slow. Here, 2, 3, 4, and back up to regular speed. Slow. And faster. And slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to speed. 4 slow. And faster.
And you don't have to know me, right?
Out and together. And in. And out.
Thank you. All right, love you. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And just hold your march right here. We're going to take our legs apart and hold them right here. And just do an upper body sway side to side. And we're going to add a reach across. And let's take it overhead. You can modify this by keeping it low. Keep the arms low. If you want to increase the intensity, you make really big movements, taking up a lot of space in your room. And back to a march. Four slow, and then up to tempo. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to tempo. 4 slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to tempo. 4 slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back up to tempo. 4 slow. And up to tempo. March wide and together. Wide for 4 steps and in for 4. Out and in. Open and closed. Out and in. Take it wide and hold right here. Rock side to side. And all I'm doing here is just a little heel lift as I go side to side. So my whole body is just doing a little rock. And then I'm going to add my reach across. And you can take this at your own pace. And let's make a longer arm reaching overhead if you're comfortable with that. And let's hold right here. Bring your legs in and take a march. One of the things that we used to always do in cardio classes is monitor our heart rate. But we're not going to do that in this class. The object is to keep your heart rate a little bit elevated, but not at a high level of exertion. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the exertion that you feel when you're sitting down doing nothing, and 10 being when you are so out of breath, you can hardly talk, okay? You want to keep your workout right in the area between 4 and 7. You want to actually be able to carry on a conversation and breathe normally and naturally while you are doing the exercises. This is a low intensity, moderate level cardiac workout today. So we're not doing high intensity interval training or anything extreme. Safety first. So please keep your exertion level right between a 4 and a 7 on that scale of 1 to 10. All right? Let's bring it back to our march. We're going to work with a little bit of a grapevine. So we're going to just step to the side. It's like 4 steps to each side. Step, cross behind, step, tap. Step, cross, step, tap. Step, cross, step, tap. Step, cross, step, tap. This is your grapevine. You can add some little marching arms. You can add a little bit of a clap. You can do a round arm, making little circles by your hips. Or hands on hips and no arms. And I hope you have your water. Don't forget to take a drink when you feel like you are getting a little bit dry. Make sure you are drinking throughout the exercise. So here's our classic grapevine. This is another great home base movement. If things get too intense and you don't want to do the exercise being shown, you can always come back to a grapevine. Nice, moderate, low level. We can add arms. I like to call this rainbow arms. We're scribing a rainbow overhead as we go side to side with our grapevine. Let's bring it back to a march while I demonstrate the Mambo. I think you can see my feet from back here, and I hope you can hear me. So the Mambo is step forward, step on your other foot, and then a little hip shake. So you can switch legs. So step, step, hip shake, switch your feet. Step, step, hip shake, move your feet. Forward, step, I'm just doing right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, and left foot forward. And we're going to add arms to that, right and left. Reaching overhead, right foot and left foot, right and left, back to grapevine. We're going to do 4 more, 3, 2 more, and then we're going to add our Mambo. Step, step, hip shake, step, hip shake, step, hip shake with the arms. Grapevine. Sorry, I called that a little late. Somebody's phone I'm hearing. Mambo. Cha-cha. Mambo. Hip shake. Mambo. Add the arms up and up, down, up, down, up, down. Grapevine. Four more. And the Mambo. Add the arms, up, down, and hamstring curls. That looks like this. Without arms, we are bending the knee and lifting the heel up toward the booty. In some classes, I've heard this called kick your butt. And the body rocks from side to side. The arms forward and pull back as the knee bends. And we're going to go back to our grapevine right here. Let's add the rainbow arms. And the Mambo. Forward. And arms up and down. And hamstring curls. Remember, we're pulling back. Let's do 8 more. 4, 3, and we're going to take our grapevine to the right. And adding rainbow arms. And Mambo. Arms up and down. Last one, hamstring. Step and pull back. Four more. 3, 2. Last set. And heels in front. Moving back so you can see me. Heels in front. And we're going to add big reach with the arms. And back to our grapevine. Add the rainbow arms. Here comes the Mambo. And add the big arms up and down. Last one, hamstring curls. 4, 3, 2, heels in front. And big arms. Remember to keep your workout intensity between a 4 and a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's go back to a march. Wide and together, out, in. Apart, together, apart, together. 4 more, 3, 2, last one, march in place. Now I've built in some 30-second intensifiers. I will show you a move and you do it at your own pace, and I will clock 30 seconds and let you know where we are. Our first intensifier is stepping into a side squat. So we step right here and come together. This can be a very small movement, and we're not using our arms. They're right here in front. And you take this at your own pace. And I'm going to count down 30 seconds. And start. If you're ready to take this deeper, that's a higher level of intensity. We're using the quadriceps and the glutes. Those are very large muscles. They're going to increase your heart rate quite rapidly. So do these intensifiers with caution. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. March it out. That was your first intensifier. See how you feel, and grab some water. Come back and let's take a step touch. Right here. We're going to move our step touch forward and back in this next combo. And that looks like this. Step, step, step. And here I am, and I'm going to do a little hippie shake right here. And take it back. 4 step touches front and back. And then a little hippie shake right here. Let's take it forward. And hips. And back. And hips. Forward. Step touch. And back. Oh, sorry, hips. Oh my goodness, I knew I would do that. Now back. And hips right here. Step touch. Right in place. Bring it down a little bit. All right, let's take that again. It's 4 step touches forward, hip shake, 4 back, hip shake. And here we go. And taking it to the back. And hips, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in front. And shell, twist and shell. And to the back. And hips. Let's take that again, forward and back. And hips. And take it to the back. And hips. And here's a mambo. Remember the mambo that we did? Right foot, shake, left foot, shake, right, left. And now we're going to do the mambo, but we're going to cross in front, one side and then the other. Reaching with the arm. and step touch. And we're going to move that step touch forward. Let's do the hips, moving it back with the hips. And then we'll add the mambo. And ready? Here we go. And hips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and back. Hips. Forward and back, one more time. Up. Hips. And take it to the back. And mambo. Right and left. Now crossover. Forward, right and left. Crossover. One more time, right and left. Crossover. And come back to a march for me. Right here. The next exercise that we're going to do is a scoot forward, pushing down. It just looks like this. It's like a little slide. And then we're going to march in place. And then we're going to slide back. And we're going to march right here. Get ready. Let's scoot forward. And march. Scoot back. And march. Pick it up. And march right here. And back. And march. Forward. March. Take it back. March. One more time. Front and back. Stay right here with your march, and we're going to do a squat right and left, like our intensifier, but keep it small. It's more just like a step apart and together, apart and together. My knees are slightly bent, but I'm not going deep here. Here's the last one, and we're going to scoot forward and march and scoot back and march forward, march right here, take it back and march forward, march and back and march. One more time. Take it back and hold right here. I want you to think about your level of intensity. Make sure you're not working too hard, using up too much energy right now, but you're working hard enough that you do feel some exertion. Maybe you're working up a little bit of a sweat. You feel like your breath is a little bit more out of breath, okay? Maybe a little bit difficult to talk, but you're still able to carry on a conversation. Let's take that diagonal step touch to the front with the hips, bring it back with the hips. Here we go. So, sorry about that. Let's start over. This is the diagonal step touch. Get it in my brain. Here we go. Open, step touch, step touch, step touch, and the hips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back. Open, step touch, and hips. Take it forward. And right here, hold with the hips. Take it back. Hips. And the mambo, right and left. And cross over. Right and left, forward. and crossover. Forward, right and left. Crossover. And march it out right here. And we're going to take those little push scoots to the front and march it back. Here we go. And march. Let's do it again. Push forward and march, bringing it back. Push forward. Last time. And we're going to take those step apart and together. Here and together. Here and together. And let's march. We're going to take another intensifier right here. Our next intensifier is elbows to a knee lift. And that looks like this. It's a crossover. You're bringing your opposite elbow toward your knee. And again, this can be a small movement, wherever you're comfortable. And we're going to do this for 30 seconds at your own pace, starting now. "15 seconds. 5. And relax. Step touch. Get your breath. Get some water. Let's go back to the grapevine, right and left. One more, right and left. And we're going to do the Mambo. Forward, right and left. Stay right here. We're not crossing over, unless you want to, of course. You're always free to add your own little flavor to it. 2 more. Here's the last set. And hamstring curls. And 8 more. 7 sets right and left. 6. Fooled ya. And 3 sets. 2. Here's the last one. Right here, and reach it, opposite arm and leg, heel in front. Let's do 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, and then we're going to take it back to that grapevine. And here we go to the right and the left. Right and left. And we're going to add the rainbow arms. Four more. And 3, 2, and the Mambo. Forward, right and left. Add those big arms up and down. Heels in front with a nice big arm reach. Remember, you can take this smaller. You can keep your arms low. Whatever works for you. Make it nice and big if you want to intensify. Take up space. Take a big space in the room. Reach far, stretch long. Make your body occupy the space that you have. And we're going to go to hamstring curls right here. Pulling forward and back. And we're going to take those diagonal step touches to the forward and the hips and then back. And here we go. Hips. Reaching back. Hips. Pick it up. Step touch. Use the room that you have. If it's small, you can just keep it little. If you have a lot of space, take up a big space. Hips and back. Hips, and we're going to go back to that grapevine. Rainbow arms. Mambo, right and left. And add the arms up and down. And hamstring curls. Heels in front, big arm reaches. Diagonal step touch forward. Hips right here. And take it back. And hips right here. Again, forward and back. Hips. And take it back. Hips. And then Mambo, right and left with crossovers. Forward. And cross over. 2 to the front. And cross over with that big reach. 2 to the front, right and left, and cross over, right and left. Cross over. One more set. Right and left. Cross over. And scoot forward and march it to the back. Scoot forward and march, taking it to the back. Scoot forward and march. Scoot and march. 2 more. Forward and march and forward and march. Squat right and left, or just step apart and together. Slight bend to the knees. Intensify it here. All right, let's march it out. Our time went more quickly than I expected. We're going to take a little bit of a cool down with our march in place. Marching forward and back. Forward and back. And back. 4, front, back, front, and back. Step apart together. Wide and in, out and in, and hold it wide right here. And rock side to side. We're not going to add arms now because the goal is to bring our heart rates down, to relax a little bit, lower the intensity of what we've been doing, but to not just stop completely and sit, right? So we want to bring it down gently. Let's march and breathe, inhale up and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Continue marching as you take your stance a little bit wider. Remember, we were right here before, but we're going to hold it now. And we're going to just take a slight dip down and up. Down and up. Don't go very far. Keep your feet flat on the floor. Your torso is upright. Diaphragm is lifted. Core is braced. You're breathing normally and naturally. And we're going to hold it in the low position right here and do a little bit of a stretch going forward. And we're going to just dip one shoulder forward. It gives our lower back a slight twist. And hold it right here. And back up. And the other shoulder forward with a slight twist. And back up. Reaching up overhead, take it to the side, nice long stretch, reach, bring it back, overhead, a nice long stretch, reach, and back to center. Release your legs, you're no longer in a bent knee position, your feet are slightly apart. Inhale up and exhale. Roll your shoulders forward, up to your ears, back and down. One more time, forward, up to your ears, back and down. Reverse, back, up, forward and down. One more, back, up to your ears, forward and down. Ear to your shoulder. You're facing forward. Now I want you to take your hands behind your back, and with the hand that is on the same side as your head tilt, so head is tilted to the right, I take my right hand and I just grab slightly onto my left wrist and just give a gentle tug, which actually extends that stretching along the left side of my neck between my ear and my shoulder. It's very gentle. Release, and let's go the other way. Ear to shoulder, facing forward. And we're now tipping over to the left, top of my head, heading over that way. I take my left arm, grab onto my right wrist, and give a gentle tug behind my back, elongating that stretch. And release. Now we're going to take the chin over the shoulder, looking at the wall to the right. The rest of my body is facing forward. Release, face forward, other side. Chin right over the shoulder, eyes go to that side wall. I'm breathing. I hope you are too. And release, facing forward. One of the questions that I got last time was about releasing your neck, and I thought I would address that because a lot of people's necks are tight. It's a place where we really do hold a lot of our stress. And when we do exercises like this, it's very possible that we may wind up clenching the muscles around our neck and shoulders, and we don't really realize it until later, and we're like, why do those muscles hurt? I wasn't working those muscles. So one of the things that we can do is work on increasing mobility of the neck. So if you're somebody that when you move your neck around, you get a lot of creaking and grinding, keep the motion very small and start with a very gentle circle of the head as if you are looking at the hands of a clock. So you're looking over 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6. And maybe you make it a bigger clock and you increase that range of motion slightly as we are going in this direction. Don't do too much to make yourself dizzy. And then we're going to reverse, other way. Remember to keep this motion small. One thing we don't want to do is crunch anything in the neck. If you're hearing crunching, grinding of any sort, do a much smaller motion so that you are not hearing that. All right, facing forward, it's about time to wind down. Inhale up and exhale. I hope that you can take these good and positive feelings with you today throughout the day. Coming and joining this community in the morning for exercise is a positive thing that you can do for your body because you are focused on your health and wellness, and you should give yourself some pats on the back for doing that. You showed up, you got up, and you worked it this morning with me. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
I'm going to close out the class.
Thank you, Stacy. It was wonderful.
Bye.
Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
sorry for the
you.
little mistakes that were made throughout. It'll get better.
Thank you, Stacy. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
You're welcome.
Thank you
for
very
being
much.
here.
I really
It was
enjoyed it, Stacy.
wonderful.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Read the
Bye-bye.
chat, Stacy.
Bye.
Read the
Bye-bye.
chat, Stacy.
Bye.
Okay. Read the chat. Where's the chat? There it is. Okay, I'll read the chat. Thank you.
It was great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, reminds you of ballet. I love that. I spent many years in ballet. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.